Hi. Hi, my viewers. I wanted to talk today about my experience moving 14 times in my life and everything that I've learned from it. First of all, number one, I've learned that you can trust yourself no matter where you are in the world to have your own back through the baby steps that it is to reassure yourself within continuously. So, I'm really worried about what it's gonna be like when I'm going into the unknown, new place, new people. It's okay. I know that it's scary. I know that this is how you talk to yourself. I know that this is something new. This is, you can go through the emotions of it, cry, anything, but I know I can handle this. I know that every single day is going to get better. I take it one step at a time. I trust that I know how to recreate friends. I trust that I know how to move into new spaces, make them my own, decorate. Everywhere I go looks like me because I end up making it me, right? I trust that me follows me everywhere that I go. So that's my first one, is that I really learned that it's not that big of a deal to relocate or to change places. It's a big deal and it feels really big in the moment, and it always does for me every time. I'm very sentimental and I do miss places that I've lived, and sometimes I just want to go back to them, and I think that I might in this certain situation. I'm not sure yet, but it's all doable. You can do that. You can just go back. It's still there for you. Those people are still there. It's also, number two, taught me a lot about object permanence. Object permanence is, and I want to pull out a proper definition for this, but I'm going to go with what I'm thinking right now, is the ability to know, for example, when there's a primary caregiver and a child in a room, and the primary caregiver leaves the room and says, "I'll be right back." They leave the room. Does the baby know, oh, my mom's still gonna come back, or the toddler or the child? If the kid starts to panic, doesn't understand that the mom will be right back, just like if you're doing peekaboo, and it's like, I'm here, I'm not here, I'm here. And when the child understands that, okay, this caregiver, this person that I love, is going to be back, and they'll be the same person, and I can rely on it, and it's consistent, and I know. Then they develop a secure attachment with themselves, with their caregiver, and with the people around them. So for those of us who had some challenges or events that happened in their childhood, trauma, and that they didn't develop that secure attachment because the primary caregiver's response, or when they reappeared, was unpredictable or unreliable, and it was inconsistent, then you often develop a lot of anxiety in attachment and avoidance in attachment because you're not sure what to expect. But if you work through it in adulthood, I recommend therapy. And you reassure yourself that people are there. You can imagine them and conceptualize them and mentalize them, that they will be that same version of them, whether you move to another country, province, city, and they're still there. You're gonna go so much further within your ability to expand into all of the versions of yourself than if you are afraid and want to stay stuck in the same place because you think, well, I'm going to lose all these people, or what about all my friends? What about, this or that? And that happens to all of us. That's the way that I was thinking in this last move too. I'm like, oh, but all my friends and this and that. But I also recognized it was a pattern of thought that I used to definitely naturally go towards more than I do now. Now, when I think it, I'm like, oh no, it's true. People are always still there. I can still visit. I can still talk to them, etc. Routines will change, but you stay the same. You're the same person. And knowing all of that and going through that within all the moves that I've had in my life has just taught me, and also widened my network, but has taught me that there are more people. And I know myself enough. I have the gut instincts to know, okay, this is a person I can attach to. This is a person I can't really attach to. And trusting yourself and building that strength and that muscle. So that's number two, is the object permanency of it all. Is like, it really develops a self-trust with yourself and with thinking of all of the people that are in your life that will continue to be in your life if they're meant to, when you move away or move back, if you're moving back to somewhere. Number 3, and I'm really just taking them off the cuff right now, is probably the idea that, this is what I learned with moving, that every time you move to a new place, you will learn more about you, and the novelty of the new place will fuel you for that little while at the beginning, and you will eventually settle into knowing whether this place is a match for you or not. Like, there are places in this world that genuinely are a match for you, and there are places that are not. And you'll know it in your gut. Like, you will feel it, and you can trust that you'll know that you want to be somewhere else, and that's okay. And you can pick up and go again. I think that it ties into 3 and 4, which 4 would just be, everything is figure outable. Everything is doable. The move in itself, like the packing of the boxes, the this and then that, it's all step-by-step stuff, right? You start making one box, or you're undoing a box. You know, you start looking up apartments and visiting some. You stop. Everything is figure outable. There is no rush in life to know exactly where you want to be, what you want at any point in time. Like, you really do get to just figure things out. I've done most of these moves alone. I would say actually earlier like 20s, I had like help from either friends or family, but like the process as I've aged, I'm not old, I'm like in my 20s still, but like I have done many of the moves like completely alone, like just packing up and then maybe hiring help for like one of them or 2 of them, and then the others it would just be me. One of my moves I literally did by walking across the street. I found an apartment on the other side of the street that I wanted to be in, and I just moved boxes, like 2 boxes at a time up, 2 boxes at a time up, and then I would order the new furniture to my place, or like things like that. Like, everything's figure outable. You can do it. You can go somewhere and then you can come back, and you haven't failed if you do that. You know, you haven't, like, I have the aspiration to live for a bit in New York or London. I'm not sure about London, but New York for sure. And like, I'm in my late 20s, and I'm like, I'm not in a rush, because I know that it'll happen at one point in my life when I'm ready, when I want to. And I already know in my mind, okay, what are the things I have to figure out? Okay, make sure that I have work there, or online work, or, you know, a way to fund myself, or if I'm with someone, if they're funding me or something like that. Or I'm going to school again, so now I have the student visa. Like, you just think of the main like source of income and the main goal, and whether it's education and experience or working or any of that. And then once you're there, or before you're there, you find a place, obviously, and that's all done online. You can do that. And then once you're there, you live it out. You start to decorate. You know, if you're bringing things, figure out transportation, or is it better to sell things and keep things in storage in the main city or at someone you know's place, and then go and kind of restart fresh? Or do I want to bring everything with me? So should I rent a car? Or should I call movers that can move it over, and maybe I'll budget myself $1,000 or $2,000 for movers to do it for me? And it's really like everything, if you have the will to do something, there's a way. There really is. And you can literally just live certain experiences in your life. Like, I want to living in New York at some point. And so I'm like, of course I'll live it, because in my lifetime, like, I see life as like, okay, let's say if I die at a healthy age, like around my 80s, like, I see it as like, okay, so now I'm 28 and I do in my lifetime want to live in New York. So when will that be? Let's see. Maybe it could be next year, or maybe I could aim for it to be like 35 when I'm like, you know, further along in my career and this and that. It's really going to be up to me. But I know that by the time I'm 80, I want to experience that. And I see life as experiences. So I would say that's number 5, if I hadn't already created a new point within what I've been saying. But number 5 would be that every move and every place I've lived is an experience that lives within me. And I see it that way. I don't see it as like either a negative or a positive. I just see it as an experience. If you're able to neutralize things in your life as, this was an experience, this was something I lived and not attach too much weight to it negatively or positively. I mean, if it's positive, you might as well attach all the fun positive weight to it. But at the same time, it can bite you in the butt if later on you're romanticizing things a little bit too much. If your emotional state in those experiences was very, very high and good, then you might romanticize when you're not in that exact moment living that exact thing again. And that can be tricky just because it pulls you out of the present moment where you can experience great things again and again. Like, this life is abundant. You can keep experiencing great things no matter where you are, no matter who you're around, and you can trust yourself to recreate. And that was the biggest thing for me, is just trusting myself to recreate everywhere that I am, that I will find the people meant for me, and the people meant for me in the other places will still be there. And I don't need to force and push. I get to flow. I get to move towards what feels good to me. And there's always great things about a move. There's always positives, even if some of it felt negative. And then sometimes it's the inverse. You're like, this will be so positive, and it's like, not so much. And that's okay, because then there's other things around it that was positive because you were there. Like, oh, I wouldn't have met this person. Like, good thing I came. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And in this case, well, my Nala is such a good positive of my most recent move. And she's like, Mama, I was sleeping. She's like, Mama, I was sleeping. Why you do that? So yeah, that's my little video on moving. If you have more questions, let me know. If there's more like logistical questions, let me know. If there's like, you're curious about places I've lived, I could do a video on that. But yeah, it's really interesting to move so many times in your life. Like, I literally have moved 14 times now. I mean, one of them I was 5 years old, and then the other I was 9, the other I was 11, the other I was 17, and then I think from 17 to 28 there's like been 10 or so. Yeah, they all were valid in their own way, and I could explain them all on another video. But if you have more questions about moving, or moving stresses you in general, or you get anxiety around it, obviously I get very stressy and anxious when I'm moving. It's like, oh my God, is everything gonna work? Like, at this time, this person has to come and pick up this, and it's not like the most fun, but what is fun is the growth that comes with it, the new experiences. Like, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like, I'm so happy that I'm comfortable in doing that, because it allows me to be like, I can pick up and go at any point. If something isn't working for me, I'm not gonna stay stuck. I'm gonna move forward and pick what will work for me, what, you know, place will work for me, what unit will work for me, what city, what environment. Like, you are free. You are free. Bye bye. You can follow me on Only My Own Validation, and I do post some stories and pictures on there, quotes and words, and now I'm like, oh, I need to sell myself at the end, but like, who cares? I don't need to sell myself. If you want to watch, you can watch. I'll be here.